That's Jake. His brother is fighting a real fighter this time. Ben Askren, legend of the game, who just retired, and owner of the quickest knockout, receiver of the quickest knockout in
he got
UFC
knocked
history.
out real disgusting.
Really
That was disgusting.
badly, and I'll put it now. Okay,
And that was foul.
That was bad.
I
That was
remember that one.
Street Jesus, George Masvidal, my favorite, one of my favorites. But anyway, that's beside the point. So actually, it's not completely beside the point. So the people. So here you're talking about, you have Ben Askren, who is a collegiate wrestler. If anyone knows anything about fighting, apparently in the States, being a Division I champion wrestler, that's the highest honor you can have as a wrestler. But it's in high school, it's college wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
We don't live in the States. We don't know. I just hear these things because I'm into combat sports big time.
We hear these things. Exactly.
That about how big wrestling is. But you see it like a lot of these some of the top fighters in the UFC, in Bellator, and all these organizations have a very strong wrestling base because most fights end on the ground. I think 90% of fights end up on the ground. And once you know what you can do there, you can completely neutralize your opponent and dominate them. Yeah, you can.
If you know how to wrestle, you can fuck someone up real nice.
Yeah.
If you really know what you're doing.
Yeah. Imagine like being like dominated. You can't use your arms anymore. You're on the ground, and this guy's throwing elbows at your head. Like that's not wrestling. That's MMA. But
or they break your leg. They do that one too.
They can do that.
They're not
They
allowed
can choke
to
you
do
out
it.
too.
They're not allowed to do it in MMA. But if you fuck up and you meet them somewhere in the street, you break your leg real easy.
Like enough times in MMA, like how often do you see people going to sleep as well? You see that a lot more now from submissions as well.
Yeah,
people get choked out. They go to sleep. The ref has to stop it because if you hold that for like 5 seconds longer, the guy could die.
Yeah,
it's that much of a difference. So obviously, this guy Ben Askren, he's held world titles in other organizations. One championship, I think. He was the Bellator champ, and then he moved to UFC, and he got fucked. He got fucked up. But like, okay, first he fought Robbie Lawler. Now, first, I want to show you this. I want to show you this fight. And I want people who think this guy is gonna get knocked out to watch this as well, because I think most people who say Jake Poodleboy Paul is gonna knock out.
Oh, who is he fighting? He's fighting Jake, or he's fighting? I keep making. He's fighting.
So
Jake.
he's fighting Jake. Jake is a guy, is the brother of Logan.
And he's fighting Jake.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Ben Askren is fighting Jake. Just to introduce Jake, you guys already know, but so Oliver knows. I've looked into his boxing record. I'm like, he didn't fight any fighters, first of all. But then when you look at the fights, and he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's pretty good of a boxer. But then again, for an amateur, as well, he's knocked out some gamer, and then he probably went up and thought, okay, people are telling me this guy is not an athlete, he's a gamer, whatever. Next, I'm gonna fight an athlete. So he takes Nate Robinson, who's one of the most athletic people in the NBA, retired, but and then he fucking flatlines him. Okay, so let's watch that one first. Actually, let's see how he flatlined Nate Robinson.
Yeah,
He's
forced to now.
He really does not know how to do this.
No.
You can really tell.
And it does get annoying though, like as a boxer, someone keeps jumping and clinching you and stuff. But then it's eventually you get his timing and then land it, and that's exactly what happens here. Boom, there we go. And that was a bad knockout. Oh, that's not even the knockout. That's still another knockdown. And by the way, ref, fucking stop this. Like this guy has kids. This guy has kids. He has to get back home. He has kids, man. I felt bad. That's what I was thinking of when I saw this. Like, these kids are watching. End it here. And he says he wants to continue, but obviously he doesn't. From his body language, that's what the ref should look at. And he's out. Because he's lunging straight in. Anyway, fantastic knockout. But there's a asterisk here.
I'm not impressed until you find an actual boxer. You can do this then. If you know how to box,
exactly.
Someone doesn't.
Even at least an amateur. Even an amateur.
Because boxing also it's a chess. It's technical.
Yeah.
Like people don't get that. It's not as much about strength, but you balance that out with weight class. So it really comes down. Strength plays a role. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it plays not as much a role as technique and all this timing and cardio and all. It's like if this was not even a boxing fight, but just like a regular fight, I don't know how it would have gone.
No.
If they were just fighting each other, you're allowed to do whatever you want. I don't know how it would have gone at all. But do this with an actual boxer, and then we can talk.
So I think they're working towards
you're
it.
You're gonna get knocked the fuck out.
Quickly. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm curious of. Like, are they gonna take it that far? Are they eventually gonna fight a boxer?
Who would you put him up against if you say, okay, you have to fight an actual boxer?
None that are. See, that's it. Like, now you have to look at the balance of name recognition that has to be sort of on par with Jake Paul, because he's not gonna fight a real boxer who has no following, right? Because that doesn't make sense to him. Because then they're like, who's gonna buy this fight?
Okay,
maybe he can hype it up.
Fight a famous. Fight Canelo.
Yeah, but he knows that's not gonna happen. He knows it's not gonna.
Why not? Why would that not happen?
Because he knows. He for sure knows he's gonna get fucked up in the first minute.
So.
but then the thing is over. See how what they're doing now is they're stretching it out and getting multiple paychecks. It's like first we fought the gamer, then we got an athlete. Now here's what I was getting at: is they're fighting a guy who is legendary in his domain, which is wrestling. He's one of the best to ever do it. So his game plan from the beginning of every fight, you see, he doesn't even try to strike with you, not even throw one punch, maybe one fake to throw you off and then go down. Always go for the takedown, which is what eventually led to him getting knocked out so quickly. Masvidal anticipated it, and indeed he went for the takedown immediately. Went for the flying knee, caught him in the temple. Over. Great timing.
You can't do that here.
You can't do that here. Not
even if you could, you don't know how.
But yeah, the point is like, all he does, go for the takedown. All he does, go for the takedown immediately and dominates you and submits you. So what they're thinking, Jake Paul's team, of course, let's find the worst, and his striking is embarrassingly bad. Like if you take, if I train you for a week and I'm not even a pro, you'll have better striking than this guy. Okay, a month, let's say. I train you for a month. You have better striking than this guy because he never had to train it because he never needed it because he's that dominant. So I think they're looking at it like, let's fight a real fighter because this guy is now a real fighter and he's been a world champion in several organizations. We can beat him because he's the worst. We have the best chance of beating him.
He's a wrestler. He's not a real boxer.
Yeah, he's not a boxer
Wrestling
at all.
is still fighting.
Yeah. So, they don't know. Like they probably know half the kids are watching are just only now watching boxing. It's only the YouTube boxing they're watching. They're not watching real boxing. They're not watching real fights. So they don't know this. What the kids hear is, oh, Jake is fighting a world champion, and that's it. and if he wins, he's a legend. You know, even though, I mean, any amateur boxer would beat. And also Askren admits it. He says like I have no illusions of being a boxer, and I'm not trying to fight actual fighters. I just don't think this kid is that good, and it's the biggest payday he's had in his entire life. Career. Imagine his long career in fighting. This is the biggest payday by far he's gonna get.
The kid is not that good. Like when I watched this, I don't know even that much about boxing. But when I watched this, my reaction is not, oh shit, he beat Nate Robinson. My reaction is, oh, you're not that good. If you took you this much to beat him.
You think? Yeah, that's
how I look at it. That's
interesting.
What I saw.
No, that's interesting, and that's valid.
The
I think
dude literally just did this. It's like, and you still. It took you a while to figure this out.
Like, it's valid.
If this was someone else, that was it. Done.
I agree.
Straight to the floor.
I agree. Although I did see these certain things that were good, considering his lack of experience. And by the way, lack of experience. I'm still talking. This guy's been training for 2 years straight, only focusing on that, nothing else. I think he even moved his house. He moved everything. Moved out of California to train, just to make himself. He wants to become a boxer. Now,
and I respect it.
I think,
but then at a certain point, we can also for him. I can't really see what you're really capable of until you go versus a real one. Like, even if you lose, we can still say, okay, but you're all right. You did all right. Or
you won a round or two.
Maybe you won a round, or maybe you survived a round, at least we could say. Like, you didn't get knocked out in the first. Like, if you go against a professional boxer and you don't get knocked out in the first round, I would already go, oh, that's decent. That's a good job.
Decent.
Yeah, you did a good job there.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I think the whole logic behind this is, they're assuming they're going to beat Ben Askren. Then they can say, "Oh, we beat a real fighter." But what's next? I think they need to stretch it out as long as they can, because if he fights a real fighter, right? If he fights a real fighter with a shitty record, or like an up and coming, like a new guy who was one professional fight, maybe 1-0. If he loses that, then the whole gimmick is over. Then nobody's gonna tune in anymore. They're like, oh, yeah, he's been knocked out or he's lost, so fuck, he's not.
Why is it over? Do you have rematch opportunities?
Once you get exposed, you're exposed there, I think. Because now people actually believe this guy is some world-class boxing talent, you know? Like all these people that don't watch fighting.
I don't know. I think he still has like a fan base who just likes him, and even especially if he loses, would want to see him have like a comeback of something.
But he also has more people than his fans are more people that want him to lose, to get knocked out.
Do you think he's gonna beat this Ben Askren?
Interesting you ask. No, I think no, I don't think so. I think obviously on the boxing end, he's gonna be winning the fight. I think he's gonna be winning the fight until he isn't. Like he's gonna be winning the fight for the first 2 rounds maybe until he realizes this Ben Askren guy is very tough. He has cardio for days, and he's being an annoying little bitch inside the distance inside the phone booth. Like I think because Ben isn't coming to box, Ben is coming to fight.
Okay.
Ben has taken punishment, and I'll show you this punishment he's taken and won the fight.
Okay, because you're saying he's not gonna. Because I get the cardio thing, but the cardio doesn't matter if I knock you out. But you're saying he's not gonna be able to knock him out.
No, exactly. I think
he's not gonna be able to knock him out.
I think we haven't seen like this. Jake Paul hasn't been past the second round. I think he had an amateur fight. He went past the third round, and it stopped there because his opponent was gassed out. That's what it was. But I think he was gassing out as well in round 3. This is an 8-round fight. Ben knows how to go. Ben has been in 25-minute fights, the 5-minute rounds, and this is 8 3-minute rounds. He's been there. He's done that. He doesn't tire. He doesn't get finished. Eventually, like when it goes past that, and people might not know. And I train boxing. I know how gruesome like this whole just aside from the fact of people hitting you, even if you do a boxing training and you're not sparring or anything, like just going past that 4th, 5th, 6th round. Once you're past that 6th round, your body's giving up. Your arms are all like sore and you can't hold them up anymore and stuff sometimes if your cardio isn't on point. Now, add to that, someone is like pressuring you because that's his style. He's always been pressuring. I think he's just going to be on the inside and just try the body shot, throw a couple of, and then clinch up, stuff like that. Tire him out for the first 2 rounds. He's not going to, in my opinion, Jake gets finished in round 4. 4 or 5.
He gets tired, and then
because of that,
and then it's just a matter of I have to just swing at you now, and if I get it in, I get it in. It's done.
Or he's just like and body shots. By the way, to me, body shots are more devastating than shots to the head. Like shots to the head, eventually with the adrenaline and stuff, you don't feel as much, unless you get like clipped with a punch you don't see, then you can go out. But the body shots are what's gruesome. I think if he's gonna keep going to the body after that 3rd round, Ben Askren it's gonna be he's gassed. He can't if you can't even stand and you have to think mentally, fuck, I have 4 more rounds of this shit going to come. You're gonna mentally give up. Maybe you're not actually gonna give up physically, but you're mentally gonna give up, and that's where the biggest test is, and that's the intangible that people aren't really looking at. They're looking at. Also, a lot of them are saying, "Yeah, Ben has a weak chin." Like where? He's been knocked out 1 time, and that was that flying knee that would have put down anyone. If Francis Ngannou, who is the world heavyweight champion and the scariest man on the planet, if he dives in and George hits him with that knee, he's going out. Anyone goes out. So that's a one-off, and it can happen to anyone. And look at this.
In his first UFC
and this is one of the harder punchers in the division.
And he won this.
Look at the beating. So they're wearing small gloves. This is UFC. This is a killer. And people are saying Jake Paul is gonna KO this guy, right? Look at this. That's Ben Askren.
It's not looking good. Askren is just holding it together. It's looking not very good right now. I thought he was out. I can't believe he's not out. I honestly can't believe he's not out.
Elbows.
The look on Robbie Lawler's face says it all.
I thought he was out.
Yeah.
From Lawler that opened Askren wide open.
He's already in the most trouble he's ever been in his career. And he just ate another bomb. And Robbie Lawler's almost out, and he's out. Look out for the knee.
Oh, it's Joe Rogan talking.
And he ends up anyway, he ends up winning this fight.
Joe Rogan commentator.
Yeah.
Not the way Ben Askren drew it up for his first minute.
But he won this.
He ends up winning because he ends up they were on their feet now, and they end up wrestling a little bit, and then he catches it. He has him in a bulldog choke, and there was a controversial stoppage here but still he still won because they said Robbie Lawler was out, he was choked out, and he went unconscious.
Oh.
Because he held him in a bulldog choke. I'm gonna show you actually why not.
Because why is it controversial? Then you won.
No,
if
so
the
but
guy goes knocked
here's
out.
what it is. Here you're gonna see. Like it's interesting because there's not a referee mistake because everyone thought the same thing.
Yeah, but if you choke the guy out, it's over, right? I mean, what's the
Yeah.
discussion?
Here, look. So he got him in this choke. Oh, here, like so he gets him in here. He's out. But then he gets him off and he's like, what the fuck? And he's up. But they're like, why the hell did you limp your arm like that? He claimed that he was just relaxing himself to try to get out of the choke. But it obviously looked to everyone that he was out. Look, his arm goes limp.
No, you can't. No, you have to stop
Yeah.
this.
Either way,
You
I
have
think
to
it was a good
stop.
stoppage.
Then you shouldn't do that.
Like, who was gonna, like, even if you're, that's...
I'm not gonna risk having you die in the fucking ring. I mean, what are you talking
Exactly,
about? This guy can break your fucking neck in that
Yeah.
position. And it looks like it's not like it looked like a drop.
Yeah, it was a
Like,
drop. And the ref always, like, he grabs your wrist and arm, like, because if you're good, you give him a thumbs up or something. But he didn't.
Yeah.
Because they always like to check, they, like, shake your arm.
I think he was out, but he came to quickly.
Probably immediately. So a lot of times what happens is,
can.
and I've never been choked out, but you hear this, you don't remember if it's a short time like that, you don't know what's happening. To you, you're like close to going out, and then suddenly you're awake. And you're like, I didn't go out. Because you forget.
No,
you don't know.
dude,
You don't know
did.
that you went out.
No,
sometimes,
dude, you did. You
know?
did.
So
this
he did.
is what. And even if you did,
Or
you
he's
can't
faking
risk-
it, or he's like, or he thought like, I knew I was out, but since I'm up now, I'm gonna pretend like I didn't know.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
Like, no, I'm fine.
I was
I'm
like,
fine.
what?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm good. You know?
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that before. I remember watching one match. I forget who the two the names were, but it was one was a wrestler too, and they were both wrestlers. And one guy, he had him in this hold where he was basically bending his leg over, and he screamed, and then the ref stopped it. And he was pissed, like, "Oh, I didn't give up." But it's like, no. But if you scream, the rules are if you scream, then it's over.
There's such a thing as a verbal tap. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what that was.
Yeah.
It was a verbal tap. Because the guy can fucking break your fucking leg.
Yeah.
And clearly you're in pain. Otherwise you wouldn't scream. So it's over. That's as simple as this.
I think though fighters in the like because in the moment there's like certain fighters that just have that like that dying mentality that like I'm willing to die in here, and they actually genuinely, because a lot of people say no, a lot of people think like is it you hear a lot of questions and people ask like, do these people mean it? Do you think they mean it, or they're just exaggerating? You're like, yeah, of course, everyone says they're willing to die in the ring. No, there's certain ones.
There's a
that
couple
will.
that definitely will,
and you see that in their performances where like if the ref didn't stop it and you just let it go,
they were not going to tap out. They were not.
Never. Yeah.
So
that's true.
Because I somewhere I also I get it though, because I've seen somewhere like, oh, the ref should call this, but then the ref maybe doesn't, and the person gets out still somehow.
Yeah.
I've seen that before, and they end up winning.
And I don't know if you've ever been in this like on a milder sense in these street fights where, because I've been in some in like school or if you get attacked or jumped by someone in the street, like that's happened unfortunately. Like you do get that fight or flight mentality where like somehow your brain goes into retard mode. I don't know if we're allowed to say retard, but you know, and you just there's no more common sense. You're like, hey, I'm gonna just if I die, I die.
Yeah.
You just survive. It's fight or flight.
Yeah,
like that's what like adrenaline rush does.
Yeah.
But that you get that. I can imagine you just get that in a fight, like especially if it's a big magnitude, a high level, like a world title fight or something. You're like, fuck, I've worked my entire life towards this. I'm 32 now. You know, like, you know, if I have to die, I'll die. I'll give it everything. And I can tell it's. Afterwards, you probably think, no, that's good that I didn't die, or that I didn't want, like, I would never want that to happen again. But when you're in the moment,
or also even not even dying, but permanent damage to where you can't do it anymore. Right? If someone breaks your leg properly, properly breaks it, that might be it for you.
Yeah, there was a fight just a few weeks ago. It was
you can get permanently
Edwards.
injured.
Yeah, no, like there was a scary moment where like I felt bad too watching Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad got this fight against the top ranked fighter in the top 5. And in round 2, he gets his eye poked that badly that he was blinded in one eye. Like just temporarily, like he's good now, but he didn't know. Like at the time, it was bleeding in the eyelid, and he started like yelling, screaming, crying, and I've never seen that from a fighter. I was like, shit, this guy's blinded. Like, and he says, I can't see anything. Like, they stopped the fight for a bit, and then they ended it like as a no contest.
Well, obviously, because
because you see a lot of eye pokes and then people recover, and like it's painful, but people end up recovering throughout the fight and they continue. But that was so bad, and I've never seen a guy that tough like scream like that. Like you can tell that he thought he was permanently blinded and his career is over and it's just starting to flourish and everything, and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're blinded, I mean that's it right there. It's finished.
But he's okay. He's rebooked now for a different fight. But yeah, you fear the worst. What I'm saying is, this relates to this because this is what I feel that's what Ben Askren has, and the thing that we don't know Jake has. And I doubt he has it. It's that
he's been through this level of pain.
He's been through this level of pain. The cardio is different. Wrestlers have a different kind of cardio. It's the most exhausting sport there is. Like if I ever complain about a boxing session being heavy, like those wrestlers are, like that's nothing compared to what these wrestlers are. I'm a pussy compared to these wrestlers then in terms of cardio. That's the thing that people don't realize is one of the biggest aspect, I think. Actually, the bigger aspect than technique in fighting, and the bigger aspect than skill is that the mental and the conditioning part of it.
That's why I would think, yeah.
That's the number one.
Just the psychological.
You can have me if I face, let's say, like, and this is a weird hypothetical. If I face Floyd Mayweather, and he has no cardio. Let's imagine he's let himself go to the degree that he has no cardio, to go past 3 rounds. If I'm tough enough to survive, and I probably am because Floyd isn't a huge knockout puncher, to survive those first 3 rounds, and I don't get knocked out by Floyd Mayweather in those first 3 rounds, and he's the most skilled boxer of all time, and he's completely gassed at 3 and we still have to go 5 more rounds, I'm going to beat his ass. No matter what my skill level is.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Because people can't. I mean, when people get really, and it's the same in every sport too. With boxing, I mean, it ends up with you getting knocked out, but you see it in every sport. The people, when you start to get tired, people start to make mistakes. They start to drop the ball. They start to not play as sharp as they were playing.
Yeah.
So, and the difference are the people who don't. The difference are the people who don't get tired and still can perform at that 90th minute, if it's football, for example, full at 100% and still play sharp. What sport requires the most cardio according to you? I'm very curious to what sport, because depending on who you ask, you get very different answers. Let me tell you this. Someone once told me Formula One drivers have the same level of fitness as pro athletes in soccer. I said, get the fuck out of here. But you go ahead and tell me what you think.
Tricky, because I'm on your side in this one, but then again, you see how much they train. I see a lot of them like in the gym and they're running, and it's like, why?
You're driving a car.
It's something you don't understand until you probably do it.
Yeah, to be fair,
so I've never done it, so I don't know.
This guy was he's a fan of Formula One. He was explaining to me that it does require a lot of physical extremity. I don't know how.
Fans of Formula One say a lot of shit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not buying it still, but
yeah. No,
which sport?
What is it like? Does it take? Okay, it's a very long match. Always, the race is very long, and for the whole time you're like tense. Maybe and like you have your hands.
I think
you need to because
it's about
details
control.
And it's the control. Maybe
that.
That can get exhausting, to be honest.
Because if you control a car at such a high speed takes very precise movement that takes a lot of it. That's the way.
If I tell you to grab some handlebars or something, and you have to like tense yourself for a long time, once in a while do a movement,
and I'm sure it costs some cardio. My guy, Ronaldo or Messi, just run around for 90 minutes at full speed. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it.
They're not running around at full speed. They're standing around half the time, I guess. And when it comes to soccer, so no, I think highest level of cardio, tennis. First of all, I think
tennis is definitely high up there.
Because those are long. It can be very long. You just explosive all the time. You explode, and then you rest for a bit. You explode. It's those explosive sports. So also MMA. MMA, you're constantly explosive, or you're defending takedowns, you're wrestling. If anyone has ever tried to wrestle or do jiu-jitsu, like, even if you're just tussling, you're going to be tired. Imagine doing that at a high level with someone trying to kill you, essentially, the whole time. The intangible in, for example, boxing, I would say, and kickboxing and Muay Thai is it's already exhausting to just be on the attack and have your hands up the whole time and run around, walk around. Now you also have someone hitting you in your gut, hitting you in the face and everything while you're trying to do that and trying to put your offense off. Like, there's a lot of things going on at once that I would say, tennis, combat sports, all combat sports, I would say.
What
Because like
about-
jujitsu,
what
for
about-
example, is fucking exhausting.
What about like marathon runners,
Oh, yeah.
sprinters?
No, marathon is the number one. I mean, the marathon and bikers, you know, when they're off the roids.
The biker, when they're not on the roid. That was mad too. That was also
Yeah,
mad.
That's crazy.
I can't do that.
That's crazy.
That shit is nuts.
Yeah.
And their accidents are gruesome. When they do get into an accident, it's nasty.
Yeah.
So 10 bikes on top of each other. Shit is mad. No, I wasn't buying the Formula 1 bullshit. My guess would have been people like marathon runners was my first. And then,
okay.
And I still thought soccer. And then soccer and boxing I had like at the same, somewhere there.
No. No, soccer would be less. It would be a lot less. Also because there's less that many teammates that it's not that everyone is running constantly all the time, you know. So there is some breaks in there. Oh, basketball, I would argue, is also this a lot more than soccer. Because, well, then at the same time, it's the rules of the game that change it a little bit. Because now basketball is more exhausting, but basketball, you get subbed so many times, so you have a lot more rest time as well. So I don't know if it's more exhausting than soccer. Soccer, it's like you're on there. If you're out, you're out. You get subbed, you're out. So, yeah, that'll be it. That'll be it. And there we go. And that's the biggest X factor in this fight that I don't think people are looking at. Because I think, and I believe, Jake Paul is the better boxer, technically. I've seen training footage. I've seen, like, what you see, like, the guy, like, even the Nate Robinson, even Nate was nothing there. The timing he got eventually, like, he got it pretty quick. The timing on the guy, because he knocked him down, like, 3-4 times in that fight. So figuring out the timing is kind of difficult, although it is a lot easier when you have someone like Nate just lunging at you every time.
That's my point.
And there's a big tell. Like when you're fighting and when you're sparring someone, you're looking for the thing you're trying to figure out. Everyone has different tells. Like maybe someone twitches his left shoulder a little bit before he throws his right. Maybe he steps in with his left before he throws a certain punch. You know. So it takes sometimes around it. That's what Floyd used to do. Like Floyd used to always give up the first 2-3 rounds. Even against McGregor, he gave up maybe even 4 rounds, where I think mostly it was in his control. He downloads all that information, and then he knows, like he's that smart. He knows all your tells, and then he's like, oh, "Now you're never gonna hit me again." And that's what happens.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny. I find it funny when everyone's like, "Yeah, but I won the first 3 rounds against Floyd Mayweather." Like everybody wins the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather.
You lost everything.
After that, you didn't touch him. Why is that? You gave away, you idiot. You gave away your whole game plan in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So so he's good at that. He's good at that, the kid. But it's Ben Askren. Look at the beating he took, and he survived. And he won.
And he won eventually, yeah.
He won with no brain. His brain was knocked out. His brain is out of his ear, hanging out of his ear. Like, it's fucking what happened. Anyway.
Okay, when is that?
April 17th.
Okay.
On Triller, whatever that is. I think Triller, I don't know if it's an app. I heard Triller is like
it's TikTok.
Is it? I thought it was like a... And people are saying
competitor.
it's a boxing promotion. Because
That's the thing.
Fights.
So,
I don't know what they're doing.
No, but as an app itself, it's a TikTok competitor. It's the same thing, the same concept as TikTok. It's just now they've added these extra event things.
Naked here.
They've added these extra event things to it to, spice it up, I guess.
Yeah,
but as an app itself, it does the same thing that TikTok does with the music. You can make videos with songs in the background.
They did the Mike Tyson fight.
They also
That's
did the
why
Mike Tyson fight.
that was the Jake was on there.
They also bought, the Versus, the music, the rapper.
Yeah.
They bought that.
You want to see this funny video my brother sent me?
They bought the Versus.